Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jewel Tolentino here. All right, so today with the Merch by Amazon videos that I've been doing weekly, I've got Michael Essek here, and we had him back a couple months ago. And, I'm going to keep going with the theme that we have here with Q4 strategies, and we're going to pick Michael Essek's brain and ask him what he is doing for the Q4 season. So, Michael, for those of you who don't know you, can you give a quick intro?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Jewel. I am Michael Essek. I'm a designer and illustrator. I started designing T-shirts maybe probably 4 years ago now. So I've been creating my own designs for that time, and I got into merch in the early days when it just kind of opened up. And I've been making most of my income from merch over the past 2 years, and just been kind of growing with the platform, and it's been a great time. And yeah, I've been writing a blog about kind of my journey over the past year or so, and a couple of books I've put together and things like that. So yeah, it's just been a fun ride so far.
Cool, cool. All right, so let's get into the interview here. First thing I always ask people is, what tier are you on?
I am on the 8,000 tier currently.
And are you able to keep up with the daily uploads that they give you?
No. I am not. I am going through a quiet period right now with my uploads, but I am confident I'm going to get back on top of that soon. I think I get 150 or something uploads.
Oh my God.
It's a big number to fill.
Yeah.
Daily, you don't have a real backlog of designs, so I don't have that right now. So I am, I'm not hitting my numbers there yet.
Crazy. Yeah, even I think like 20 or 30 per day is still pretty. I mean, if you're kind of you'd need a bunch of designers to fulfill those numbers. Like, you'd need a lot of people, I think. Cool. All right, so let's get into it here. Do you have a Q4 strategy going into merch or print on demand in general? And if so, can you share with us what you're doing?
Great question. Last year, I had a much more kind of hands-on approach with Q4. I was very much searching for designs and ideas on a daily basis, and getting in the trenches and trying to kind of battle it out there, and changing prices and all kinds of different things like that. This year, I'm not really I'm really going in the same direction. I already have most of my designs up, most of my Q4 designs, Halloween and Christmas stuff. I mean, I might be doing a bit of things to me, but I'm not really like last year on that approach, just because I have a lot more designs up. I already have my catalog working for me, so I'm kind of not worried about Q4, if that makes sense, and I'm kind of focused on actually maybe Q1 next year and other opportunities that are related to merch but not directly merch.
So you're kind of like already set for Q4?
Much. I mean, I have some projects I'm working on. I want to get uploaded before Christmas, some designs, but they are not really Christmas related or anything like that. So it's more a case of I have some, general, I guess you could call them evergreen designs or evergreen content that I want to get up there. I'd like to have it up before Christmas, just because obviously we expect overall sales to go up around Christmas, but they're not Christmas specific. They're not holiday specific or anything like that. So I'm just kind of, I guess I'm playing a longer game, and I'm just kind of working my system and doing what I think is right. And I do have some Christmas designs. I do have Halloween designs. I'm not like as a percentage of how many of my designs are seasonal. Out of I think I have about 3,000, 4,000 designs up right now. It's probably like less than 10%. So I'm not really. I've never really been someone who chases the seasonal stuff that hard. So I'm just kind of still working my system really, and it's not you know, it means that, like, for example, Eclipse and all these kind of trends we've had this year, I've not been riding any of those. So that my growth has been very slow, but it's still steady. So, you know, pros and cons and swings and roundabouts.
So that's your game, is that you don't really bank on the seasonal like other people do.
Yeah, I'm expecting an uptick in overall sales in Christmas, but not for them to be tied specifically to Christmas designs. I expect people are going to go and buy shirts as they always do every Christmas, but they will buy designs that are specific to their, you know, to their needs. I need a gift for my friend who is a whatever it is, someone who likes this or finds this joke funny. And yeah, I've never chased so hard the kind of seasonal stuff. That's just me personally. Other people do, and it's. I think, you know, this is the overall thing with merch, is finding your fit and how it makes sense for you. It's not that there's one hard and fast rule for everybody, or some kind of, you know, guide that fits every situation.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their different methods. For us, we were kind of going after Canadian holidays for those Canadian Americans who live in the U.S. Like, for instance, we did we already had our Thanksgiving like last week, and so we put up a bunch of Canadian Thanksgiving shirts that we were just like, you know what, I don't even know if this is going to do well. Let's just put up some designs that have to do with being Canadian and celebrating Thanksgiving. And surprisingly, like, that is an untapped niche that, you know, that we found out about. So I'm finding that, like, the Halloween right now, like, I think we only did a couple of Halloween sales. We're finding that it's too crazy, like, with all, I'm sure that everyone's putting up Halloween designs. So seasonal, like, versus Evergreen has always been doing better in the long run for us. But there are, like, the tiny little spikes with the seasonal that we have, and we've been kind of going like a Canadian route.
Well, actually, whatever works. You know, you've got to put stuff up there to see what's selling. So it's that's the game, is testing the waters and seeing what works and writing it out. And obviously, we've all got different kind of knowledge and niche market knowledge that we can apply. So it just kind of, yeah, you just got to feel your way through it, really.
All right, got a first question here. They said, how do we index keywords for our listings? It seems when I search for a keyword, my shirt won't show in the initial search.
Well, as far as I understand it, every merch shirt is indexed. The problem is likely to be, if I understand the question correctly, the way I'm reading the question is, I'm searching for my shirt and I can't find it. Now, if that means that you've scrolled through every page and you can't find it, then that would seem to be an indexing problem, and I've never had that happen myself. If, on the other hand, you mean that you can't find it because you're buried under hundreds of other T-shirt designs, then that is a case of not indexing, but ranking, and actually getting the rank up. And there's no, you know, obviously Amazon has its algorithm. We all kind of know that that's based mainly on sales and conversions and that kind of thing. And obviously, all that we can control is the title, the brand, a couple of bullet points, and those things, and the design. So I would just focus on making sure that you've got all the relevant keywords, key terms in your title, and perhaps repeated in your bullet points, and have the best possible design that you can have that's really going to sell and that makes sense in the marketplace. If I've misunderstood and it is an indexing problem you have, then I would email the merch team and say, hey, you know, I've got this shirt and I can't find it when I search for it. You know, it looks like something's screwy there, and see if they can help you with it. They do seem to be getting back to people a lot quicker now on the support side. So I'd try that route.
Yeah, another thing is that if you are typing in, you know, general keywords and you're not finding your listing, it might be that you're going after something that like you don't rank for, and it's too saturated. So maybe you need to go after a different niche that isn't so popular and isn't so high competition, so that you could potentially find yourself. But if you want to see your shirts like on the page live, you can just go in there and right click on or double click or whatever on the actual listing, and you'll see that it should be live. Like I've never had an issue of a shirt not showing up when it's being processed and everything goes through. So hopefully that helps you out. Another question here. I think we kind of covered this. Do you focus on Evergreen more for consistency of sales, or for less competition?
Both, I think, like both and. I'm not kind of, so the way I create designs and ideas is I'm thinking about what I think is going to sell. Usually, is my first, starting point, if you like. I don't do a lot of research, or the research I do comes after I've had an idea, if that makes sense. So I might have an idea, then go and research and figure out, okay, we've already done this thing. I'm not starting with research. I'm not starting in Amazon and then making decisions off the back of that. Now that, it could be smart, it can be not so smart. It depends on, your approach and what kind of results you see. But for me personally, I'm starting with, I like, this is a funny idea, or this is a good idea, and kind of pushing it that way. So I'm not thinking about competition immediately, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking about, how can I create a great design? How can I create something that people are going to like and enjoy? And something that, it's usually something that I know a little bit of something about, so that I know kind of the words and the phrases I'm going to use in the listing. I'm not just flying blind. I'm not just picking something up random. And then I'm going to Amazon and having a look and seeing, okay, this is, there's some competition around here, or someone's kind of done it this way. And usually what that does is makes me think, oh, that kind of sparks another idea, and it takes me down another rabbit trail. And I'll just kind of follow the rabbit trails really until I, settle on a few things that I want to create, and then take it from there. So it's not really competition that I'm worried about with my Evergreen. It's more like, I just want to create stuff that I think is good quality and that can actually work in a lot of different situations, not just merch. And that's kind of my strategy, overall strategy, if you like. I want to create something that I can use. Sure, I can use it on merch, but it's not just going to be, it's not just one use. It's like a nice quality design that I can apply on other websites or on my own store, or do other things with in the future. That it's not that merch by Amazon is the alpha and omega, the beginning and the end of all this.
Mm-hmm. Are you doing the Etsy printful integration?
Yes. For a couple of months, pretty much as soon as Printful launched the Etsy app, the Etsy integration, I tried it out. And a couple of months ago, I got the majority of my relevant designs up on Etsy. And it's been going really good. Etsy is great for organic sales, very easy to do the Google shopping ads with Etsy. And I find that to be quite worthwhile, quite profitable to spend a little bit on advertising a day. And Etsy's now bringing in a couple of thousand, I think, a month profit, something like that. So definitely it's working.
That's awesome. Good. How do you do they deal with the refunds, or like if someone wants to return something?
No, you have to deal with that yourself. So I have a member of staff on my team who's working on that on my behalf. So if we have, which we do have, we get kind of not daily, perhaps weekly, we'll have 2 or 3 return issues or sizing issues or something. Mm-hmm. So we will have to deal with that. Usually we're eating the cost of that as well. But we have a great reputation on Etsy. We have a lot of reviews, 5-star reviews from happy customers. So we want to maintain that. So we do kind of, we'll send out extra shirts, we'll send out replacement tools, just refunds, and stuff like that. So
Okay, so if someone wants to do a refund or return, does it get shipped back to the printful warehouses?
You can do, I mean, it depends how you want to handle it. So you can request that they send the shirt back to printful, and then you could have someone at printful try and let you know when they get a return or something like that. Personally, I find that it's a very kind of drawn out process and just kind of takes too long. So we just say either keep the shirt or send it back, but we don't actually track if it's been returned. So we just, it's just kind of a trust thing. We don't
You
find
just incur that cost, basically.
yeah, we keep the cost. Yeah, we just kind of it's like $17 or something for a shirt. You can afford to, we just work it into your projections and your figures, like any business would. You're going to have refunds. You're going to have, you're going to need a bit of margin there. So we just eat that right now, and as long as people don't take advantage, then we're quite happy to do that.
Okay, cool. All right, got a couple more questions here. How important are bullet points and descriptions in your listing?
Not important. Insofar as they are, I think I said in my private group, I have a private group where I do kind of weekly Ask Me Anythings, and I said a couple of weeks ago that if we spoke about bullet points for like more than a couple of minutes, we probably have talked about it for too long, because I mean, if you shop on Amazon, you don't. How often do you read the bullet points? How often do you read the description? It's very rare, unless I'm looking for a specific bit of information. I usually get everything I need from the title and from the image. Usually not even the title, just the image. I can see within a few seconds, that's what I want to buy. So bullets are important insofar as they can just help you get that ranking, perhaps. But if you think about the importance of that versus someone coming and buying the shirt, like someone buying the shirt is going to take your t-shirt to the top of Amazon a lot quicker than having, heavily laden bullet points in there. So I would just say, don't obsess about it. Just be as streamlined as you can with your bullet points. Keep them very short. Keep them to the point. Don't include a load of stuff that's irrelevant and not, just describe the design. That's what I do. This is a nice design. It features a dolphin wearing a top hat, dancing around. Just include the words that a customer might be searching for. But don't people are spending way too much time on the bullet points. If they tweak the bullet points, they're going to take a design from nowhere to best seller when it's really not going to happen. It's so much about what comes before you ever get to the bullet points. So it's about the market and the quality of the design and the concept and the idea, and it's that's going to actually impact your sales. It's not bullet points that are going to make the difference.
Yeah, you actually make a really good point. I didn't really even think of that, when someone's searching for a shirt or purchasing online in general, for a t-shirt, you're not going to be obsessed with the specs, right? Like, what is this shirt? Like, maybe if you're buying electronics, you're going to look at those specs. But yeah, I didn't even really think that, oh, it's a t-shirt. They're just going to look at the design and the size and the color they like.
Yeah, and I think on the other hand as well, some people can actually be hurting themselves with bullet points, because you could be fitting in a load of nonsense there about, you could be doing keyword spam, just cramming it full of nonsense. Or you could be talking like gibberish in your descriptions in an attempt to, get keywords in, and just like someone reading it, if someone did take the time to read the bullet point, would be like, what is this description about? It says this is a great gift for any granddad, Father's Day, Mother's Day, Halloween 2017. What's going on here? And they just be like, I'm kind of like, no, this
put
is
off
fishy about this listing. Yeah, I'm just looking for this funny t-shirt, and this is weird. So I'm going to close the window, go somewhere else. Now you've just lost the conversion. Now you've just, kicked yourself in the foot, shot yourself in the foot. And yeah, you don't want to be doing that. So definitely, like, try and get this in your head that bullet points are like down here on the list of importance. and up here is design quality, you know, niche and concepts and all that kind of stuff.
Cool. Yeah, no, I didn't even think of that. All right. How quickly does a new shirt that you put up sell on average?
Wow, I have no idea. It completely depends. I have had, I've had shirts sell in hours, and I've had shirts that don't sell, of course, as I think most of us have. I've no idea kind of what my average is. But to be honest, I wouldn't, I wouldn't think that that's important. As long as your shirts are selling, over the course of, I don't know, what have we got, 90 days now? As long as you're seeing sales, you're doing something right. And then it's just a case of tweaking and improving that kind of ratio. And if shirts are selling, something's right. You're doing something right. If shirts are not selling, then it's not necessarily that you're doing something wrong. It might just be that you are in a very difficult, especially if you're on the lower tiers, if you're on 10, it's very, very hard to make sales at that level. You've really got to find a few golden little opportunities, and that's going to take quite a bit of digging. So I wouldn't obsess about, oh, it's been 2 days and it's not sold. I think you've really got to, if you want to have success in this for the long term and actually build a kind of strong recurring income on merch, you're going to be waiting a long time. However, even if everyone had 100 slots tomorrow, you're still going to it's still going to take a while for you to get a decent, regular income coming in. So, if you've not got that mindset in place in the first place, if you're like, oh, it's been 2 days and nothing sold, it's been a week, should I take things down? You really need to pump the brakes and get some patience in the mix, because you're going to be disappointed and frustrated and you're going to give up. So either switch your brain and say, okay, I realize this is going to take a while. I'm going to have to find some other ways to make some cash and some money as well. And, don't quit the day job or anything like that. And, it took me 2.5 years before I was making anything that was close to my day job. I don't think, if I knew what I knew now, I think I could do it a lot quicker. But still, you have to have that kind of mindset, that this is going to take a while. Give yourself a couple of years to actually grow it. And don't rush it.
Yeah. For us, it took about a year to get to the 1,000 tier and to get about 1,500 profit a month. And that was us doing it. We would meet 1 to 2 times a week, doing this part-time. But yeah, we never rushed it. We always said that we didn't want to put crap designs and just be sloppy and be impatient. And yeah, you really, going into it, I said, okay, I'm going to give this 1 year. That's what I said to myself when I first started. And I'm going to see what happens after 1 year, but I'm going to put effort and I'm not going to give up like a lot of people do. I find after the first month, a lot of people drop off after the first month.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's cool. People are going to drop off, and I think it's great. It's great that people drop off, because that leaves more room for the people who are really going to take it seriously and pursue it. And that's people who have patience. People who have patience are usually those who know they have something of quality that they actually want to make, something from. So I'd encourage people who are not patient, go and do something else. Find something else to do.
Yeah, you definitely need patience for this. All right, got another question here. By the way, guys, Auret is behind the scenes. If you have your questions, put them down in the chat box there, and we'll get them answered. All right, so they said here, do you make your designs 4,500 pixels wide, so the full length width? Do you make designs that go all the way to the edge?
No, not all the way to the edge, because then you're gonna have them right in the armpits or curving around the body. So I tend to bring it in quite a little bit. It depends on the design. There might be situations where you want, if it's a big text design and you want to have it really full on the body so that it takes up as much space as possible. But usually I'm doing kind of illustrations and stuff, so it's going to be You know, we want it kind of in the chest and central, and yeah, you take up all the kind of height, but not side to side. I find that is, and I've seen comments where people say, "Oh, it's a great shirt, but it was really, really wide, and it kind of, you know, was too wide on my body and that kind of thing." So I try and bring it in I don't know, maybe an inch or something like that from the sides.
Yeah, same with us. I recommend even buying one of your own shirts just to check it out and see how it is, because there were some designs that were too low and it would like be like in the stomach area when it didn't look good in the stomach area. So yeah, just play around with that. All right, got another question here. Hi, Michael. Do you design t-shirts full time, or do you still have a regular job besides the t-shirt job?
No, the t-shirt job is my regular job now. So yeah, I mean, I'm not even designing shirts anymore. I'm overseeing a couple of designers and a couple of staff and that kind of thing. So it's a business, and I think that's important. Not important. I think it's significant, especially for me. I think that Merch by Amazon is part of my business. It's not my business, even though it's the biggest part in terms of income. It's not the biggest, you know, it's not the whole business, if that makes sense. And I think there's a lot of people who are probably far too reliant on merch as one source of income. And I think they're at risk there, because things can happen overnight, things can change. And I would never want to be, you know, totally reliant on that. It's kind of seems weird, because like 70% of my income is Merch by Amazon. So I am quite reliant on it. But that's, you know, my plan is to get less reliant on it. And so, yeah, it's just my full-time job. And I'm not doing anything else really other than t-shirt, focus on t-shirts. And I'm looking to expand into a few other different things, but nothing that I can really talk about yet.
Okay, and they had a little follow-up here, and I think it was after 2 years you said you were able to quit your regular job and do this full-time?
That's correct. Yep. After about 2 years. So yeah, I think that was last year in May. I think I quit my job. So yeah, I'd been doing it at that time for maybe 2.5 years, something like that. So it took a while, and that's the time it took for me to get to a point where my t-shirt earnings were on a par with what my full-time 9-to-5 earnings were. So at that point, I took the jump, and it was a bit of a risk, but thankfully it paid off, and merch kind of then was on the uptick from then on. So it was good timing, really good timing.
Would you ever go back to
for me
your a regular job?
I don't think I could ever go back to a regular job. I think I'm kind of spoilt now, and I like to do my own thing and be in charge. But yeah, never say never if the right kind of thing came up. But right now I'm focused on building this business and getting this business really rocking. So once that's established, then hopefully new opportunities and new things will pop up. But yeah, I don't think I could ever go back. I certainly could never go back to doing a kind of graphic design 9-to-5 or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Same. Once you leave, it's just the luxuries of doing whatever you want, whenever you want. It outweighs. Yeah, I could never.
It does. I mean, it's certainly harder than doing a 9-to-5. It's a lot more stressful in many ways, but it's certainly worth it, I think. And I think if it's right for you and when the timing's right. I think it's not something anyone should rush into. And I think some people will be much happier doing a 9-to-5. I'm kind of, I have those days where I think, oh, I should pack this in and go back, because there's just a lot of hassle and stress. But yeah, if it's right for you.
Yeah, there are those days where it's like crazy and you don't even want to do anything. But for me, it's like, it's always worth it, like to work on something and grow something yourself.
Yeah.
All right, got an interesting question here. What new product for merch would you be most excited to see added to the lineup?
I think, you know, from a lazy perspective, I guess hoodies and sweaters, like everyone would be, you know, we all think that would be like Christmas come early, because we expect that our designs would just be on hoodies and sweaters, and they would just fly off the shelves, and we'd all just be making an immediate, you know, increase, whatever that would be, 25%, 50%, or whatever, on our sales. I think that's really unrealistic, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think as we've seen with Amazon, when they do roll things out, they roll things out very gradually, and they don't go, hey, everyone, you've all got sweaters, you've all got hoodies, hooray. You know, they're going to go, okay, a few of you get sweaters and hoodies, and then we, you know, stop it, and then we start it again, and then we kind of test it here and test it there. And I think, you know, anyone who's kind of expecting and relying on Amazon to bring them a sudden influx of new income or anything like that has got the wrong mindset, and you're going to end up being frustrated a lot of the time if that's how you're thinking. I think you've got to look elsewhere to grow your business. It's not going to be all in merch. And I say that as someone who really believes in merch and thinks it's going to go huge from where it is. I think we're going to see all kinds of products in the years ahead. It's going to be humongous. But I think the biggest advantage is going to be for those people who have something truly original and something truly unique about themselves. And those are people who could actually make a business completely apart from merch by Amazon as well. Like, those are the people who could take and start a Shopify store or start you know, a YouTube channel or whatever it is. Those are the people who are really going to stand to benefit most from merch as it blows up. And so yeah, I you know, hoodies and sweaters would be great. Trying to think, I don't know, like, I mean, I think there's been talk of like
mugs or
mostly
something.
It's been apparel, but yeah, things like mugs and other kind of gifts like that. That would be cool, but yeah, I don't know. Whatever the merch gods.
The merch gods. Nice. Someone's asking, where can we learn more about your private Facebook group?
Yeah, if you actually, I believe, Julie, you got the link in the description below. That's
yes.
the link to my book offer, where you can pick up both of my books, and you get lifetime access to my private Facebook group. So every Wednesday, usually most Wednesdays, I do a weekly Ask Me Anything, kind of like we're doing here in the Facebook group. I also sometimes do some reviews of shirts and that kind of thing. So yeah, once you're in the group, you have access to that, and all you have to do is buy the bundle, and that gets you lifetime access. And I should probably just say that I am going to be switching probably to a subscription model or something with the Facebook group in the near future. But anyone who's in before that happens will be, you know, in for life. You'll have lifetime.
Grandfathered in.
Grandfathered in, that's it.
Cool, yeah. So if you guys want to get in the group, make sure to check out the link below to get in there. Okay, someone wants to know, how many shirts have you sold in total on merch to date?
I don't know.
Do you keep track?
No, I guess I could go back through my records and stuff. I did work out the other day that this year, so actually my company's like a year old now, so I set up a limited company about this time last year. So I figured out the other day that we've done, or we're responsible for at least $600,000 in sales from merch and all other platforms combined. But that's at least. So we're at least kind of the $600,000 mark. So I mean, that's kind of that's obviously not the profit we've made or anything close to that, but it's still a nice number to say, hey, we moved this much products. We were responsible for designs that, you know, produced this amount of sales in dollars and stuff. So I do know that, but as far as like the number breakdown, I don't know. I really don't know. I think we shift maybe something like 500 a week, something like that.
Wow.
But that's not just with merch, that's through other...
In total, with all the things you've got going on.
With all the other platforms and stuff as well.
Crazy. And your pricing on merch, what do you usually, do you go low or high?
I've done everything over the past couple of years. Honestly, my recommendation to people now would be find a space where you can charge higher amounts, because I think a lot of people are pricing way too low, and I think they're at risk of first of all, there's like no upside in pricing low, unless you're doing it to kind of get the ranking, and then you're going to raise your pricing. But then even then, you're still going to be kind of susceptible all the time. So I don't see a lot of benefit in pricing low. And when I started with merch, I priced at $25 across the board. And then I got scared and I lowered things a bit. And now I'm going back to actually pricing things higher again. And I think it's a case of knowing your market. And, you know, it depends on your strategy with merch. Different people have different strategies. For me personally, it's like quality and knowledge of what we're talking about. And for the people I'm designing for the markets I'm providing for, they are not at all uncomfortable paying.
Oh, I think you're frozen. Is Michael frozen, you guys? Let me know in the comments. Read on your end, do you see if Michael's frozen on your end? For me, he is.
Yeah, I just see his icon.
Okay, well, we're gonna pause there for a moment and see if Michael can get back. Okay, we were talking about pricing. Yeah, for us personally, we don't price anything lower than the $19.99 price range, and we actually don't go any higher. So that's kind of what we stay at. And I was about to ask Michael if you know, like if he sells the $25 t-shirts on the regular t-shirts, so not like the premium, but if he can actually get sales on the regular type shirts. So I was about to ask him that, and I really wanted to know. Is he still frozen, Ari?
I don't see him. I think he needs to join back in.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause, guys, here for a second. I'm actually just gonna message him on the chat here. Hold on, bear with me here. Hey, Michael, I think you froze, so I'll just let him know about that. And let's go through. Let me see if I could answer any of your questions, and then I'll go back if he can come back into here. Let's see here. Do you pick 5 colors or less for each listing? For me personally, I usually pick 5 most of the time, but if the design colors only go with less than 5, then I'll go with less than 5. So I pretty much only choose the colors that flatter the design. So I'm not just going to choose colors, like a maximum of 5 colors, if they don't go with the design. And I find that a lot of people that I've looked over their designs, they pick the wrong, in my opinion, pick the wrong colors with the design. And they're not able to distinguish what looks good, like which color their design looks good on. So I pretty much have like my 5 go-to colors, but sometimes there's a different design that requires less colors. Let me just check here to see if Michael received my message here. Sorry guys, having some technical difficulties. Michael's in the UK right now, so I think the internet connection went all crazy. I'm just messaging him. All right. Okay, let's go back to the questions here. And you know what? If for some reason he can't get back, we'll do another interview. But so far we were getting like a lot of value from him. Oh, I think he's back. He popped up on the screen here. Let me just message him here. Are you there, Michael?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we lost you there for a second.
So we are just having a hurricane.
Oh, a hurricane.
And it's just in the house. So
Did the power go off in
just
your
on the
house?
laptop. Yep, complete power cut. So
Oh, wow. Crazy.
I've just got my battery that's working, and I've just managed to get on the local whatever mobile cell network thing.
Okay.
Just trying to set
Wow.
this up here. So sorry about that. I know the
No.
sound's not going to be stuff, but if you can hear me, okay, is it okay?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Good. Are you still okay to continue? I mean, we will obviously understand if you need to go.
Yeah, as long as you mean everything, then
Okay,
let's do
cool.
it.
All right, so I was telling the viewers, I was about to ask you, because you said that you go after a certain niche that is willing to pay $25 or more for a shirt. Is this on the regular shirts or on the premium ones?
It has been on the regular shirts, but I will usually offer on the premiums my default.
That's really cool that you can
But
sell at that price point.
I mean, that's, if you find the right thing, then it's possible, and it's not possible in everything. And obviously, like with trends and stuff, you'll be looking for a cheaper shirt. Depend on the niche, but not for most things it's difficult. But for certain niches and communities and stuff, or certain, I would say, then it's definitely possible.
Wow. Okay, next question here. How much money do you put how much money do you put as a percentage? Sorry, how much money do you put back into your outsourcing staff? Like, I guess from your profits, how much do you put into hiring people?
So we're working on about $10 is the average that we pay for a design. Now, that's the average. So we do have designs that we pay a lot more for, and we have some kinds of designs that we pay a lot less for. Average, and we're usually running at about doing 10 times. Our bill for like designers is about $1,000 a month right now. So it's kind of a fraction of what we make in profit. So it's not a huge amount that we put back into that. But we are probably going to be upping that spend in the next few months. So there's no like rules on that. It just kind of depends on what your strategy is and that kind of thing. Personally, I stay in designs, but it's been our only expense, if you like. So on a market and a merch, then it's probably going to be the only expense you really have, unless you're doing like advertising.
All right. I think he froze again. Auret, on your end, can you see him? Okay, so he's having some weather issues. Sorry, guys, these things happen. He's in a hurricane right now in the UK, and his power just went out. So he's still, pushing through here, but I think it went out again. So I'm just going to keep answering. Let's see if he can get back on. He might not be able to because he's using like Wi-Fi from his phone, and that might be out too. So it's cool, Michael, if you can't come back. Let's see here. Where do you look for design inspiration? Oh, did we come back here? Michael?
I
think we're...
as much as you can.
Oh, I think he dropped off again. I'm so sorry, guys. This is live right now, and I'm just kind of going with the flow here. Hopefully he can come back. Oh, okay, he popped on again. This last part of the interview is kind of wonky. I apologize. Designs. Where do I find inspiration? In the real world, for me, Facebook newsfeed, on TV, when I see characters wearing cool shirts, because usually people who they dress the characters, they put them in interesting outfits. For instance, I got a lot of ideas from The Big Bang Theory. Sheldon, the character, he wears a lot of graphic t-shirts and they're like funny and witty. So we got a lot of ideas from there. I set an example in the last one of my last videos where I was watching Fuller House just to check it out because I used to watch Full House. And then I saw Kimmy Gibbler wearing a shirt with popsicles on it, like 3 popsicles or something. And then we did a shirt on popsicles and it sold. So watching TV, like stuff like shows on Netflix, real life, when I see people, my own personal interests, Facebook, newsfeed, I actually ask people around me who are in different niches that I don't know too much about. So for instance, my sister, she's a dental hygienist, and I would ask her, like, you know, what kind of dental hygiene shirts would you like to see? And, you know, she gave me some ideas. Those have done well. Let me just see here if Michael is back on. I can see his profile, but I can't hear or see him. Are you able to hear me? I'm just messaging him to see if he can hear me. His internet is probably not very good right now. All right. Oh, hello, Michael?
Hello.
Okay, we lost you there again. All right, you know what? Let's let's just do like 1 or 2 more questions, and then we'll, because I think your internet's probably gonna cut out again. All right, last, I'm gonna just choose like a last couple of questions here. You got any good ones to read? Let's see here. I'm just scrolling through here. Okay. Okay. Maybe we'll end it off with this question. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I've got you fine for now.
Okay. All right. All right. Last question here. Michael, you mentioned if you knew now what you knew 2 years ago, you could have grown your merch sales much faster. What is it that you would have done differently?
I think I didn't mean that I would have been able to grow my merch sales necessarily much faster. I think different beast to what it was 2 years ago. So what I really mean is I would much faster, and my business is bigger than just merch. I would really have a lot faster. I would have tried to learn a lot faster about sales and marketing, advertising, and invested profits back into advertising. I would have really focused on a niche and a brand to kind of build my business around right in the early days and stick to that instead of trying to do a lot of different niches and a lot of different markets. And I know that's kind of counterintuitive when it comes to merch, but I think really what's making more strong brand and something that's actually driving people to Amazon, apart from, you know, t-shirt. So I think, you know, people will know if that's kind of the right fit for them. If you're an artist or designer who has talent and you're kind of attracted to certain brands and niches, and it's always been something that's interesting to you, maybe you've had ideas about starting a clothing brand or something like that. And I think if that's you, then you should really follow that and niche down and figure out what that is, and then just laser-like focus on that one thing, on serving that one market really, really, really well, instead of just going after trends or chasing whatever's happening. I mean, you can do some of that as well, especially in the early days, maybe to get a bit of cash. But long term, if you want to build a big business that's strong and stable, you've got to really pick a market that you're going to serve and do it serve those customers better than anyone else can. Would have said to myself is stick with that thing and then just blow it up,
All right.
to fans, even fans, and that's completely possible with all the tools we have today, and especially with something like merch, we can really get some cash flow going really fast. So those are just two or three of the things that I would recommend people do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Michael. I really don't want to take any more of your time. You're going through this hurricane. It's like pitch black right now. Thank you for coming back on after all of that. Where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you in the group? How do they do that?
Yep, you can visit my website, michaelessek.com, and you can subscribe there and get the first 3 chapters, I think, of my book. Or if you want to just go ahead and take the plunge, then you can buy my book bundle and access to the Facebook group. And like I say, I'm in the Facebook group every Wednesday and answering questions and doing feedback. Then I have more and that kind of thing coming up. So if you feel like you're an artist or a designer and kind of to me where you can make a real living out of your skills as a designer, then I think, yeah, come and join the group and see if it's the right thing for you, and hopefully we can help you grow your business as well. Awesome.
The links for Michael's ebooks are in the description below. Check that out. They are full of value. Michael is always providing full value. That's why I wanted to have him here on the show for you guys. All right, Michael, well, thank you so much. We'll let you deal with whatever's going on right now with the weather. And thank you guys so much for watching. I apologize for having to cut this shorter, and with the technical difficulties, these things do happen when you go live. If we didn't answer your questions, please put them down in the comment section below, not the live chat, because the live chat gets deleted. I don't know why YouTube does that, but put them in the chat for the comment section for the actual video. Yeah, and then we'll be able to answer them there. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. And as always, we'll see you in the next video.